All right, so here's the little DJ setup 101 with this gear, and I hope that its explanation is good enough for you to be able to follow it and set your gear up. Um, and I might even give you a few little DJ tips here and there. Take it or leave it. It's all up to you. So fast forward through the boring parts if you need to, but it's just going to keep going. So here we go. I'm going to set it up from start. I use a table kind of like this pretty much most of the time. I'm just going to put the speakers on the table so that way you can see the back of it, and then I'll flip it around so you can see it when it's all set up. Okay. And when you set up your speakers in a room, judge the size of your room, and put these two big speakers, the PVs, in your corners, facing inwards, so you can hear what's coming out of this, but also so it's kind of like a stereo mix into the center. And then I put these more closer together to the DJ booth, pointing straight out. Since this table's a little smaller, I'll just stack them right there. Here's your outputs. Left and right, of course, and they are labeled. On your left side. And when you're doing a DJ gig, make sure that you arrive in plenty enough time. Set this thing up from get-go, and you want to count in load time. And so when you get to a place, you gotta know the layout a little bit. So that way, if it takes you a half hour to load all your gear in, you have to account for that time, as well as the setup time. So if the gig starts at 8 o'clock, you want to show up at 6, so you have plenty of time to load in, get the gear assembled, do a sound check, and make sure that when it's time, when the scheduled time is ready to start, that you're ready to go. Like for weddings, for instance, you want to show up way early, so the music's ready to go right when people are arriving at the wedding. and throughout it, and then you do either a ceremony if it's, you know, a ceremony type of wedding, or if it's just a reception. You just want to have the light music going on initially, and then when it's ready for dance time, you know, then you can crank it and jam out and take requests and all that stuff. And then of course account for the tear down and load into your vehicle, and then going home and then taking out of your vehicle and loading it back into your place. That's the full shift, and that's depending on what venue it is. I mean, that could be a solid 8 hours right there. So just take that into note. Now this is the board that I'm using, and it's the I don't know how to say that, Xenix Q802 USB. This is really cool because you can hook it up to your computer as a USB connection, or just use either RCA, XLR as your microphone inputs. You can also use a microphone that has a conversion or an XLR output. So also another thing to keep in mind is your cords and your cables. You want to keep them neat and tucked away. You want to either bring a rug that you can put over your cords, or bring duct tape with you, something that you can stick the cords to the floor so nobody trips and falls on your stuff. That's a bit of a liability, so keep that in mind. Outlet. Bring that over to the other side. And then you daisy chain from the PVs to your smaller ones. So he's down there. And I'll show you how to wrap the cords properly when you're all done, so you don't ruin the cords over time. There is a right and wrong way to do that. This is like 100-footer or something like that. It's long. As I yank it out. And right now I'm just throwing them down there just because, you know, for speed and all that. Okay, so those are in there. Here's your outputs going out to the speakers, and then daisy chaining into the littler speakers. Okay, so these are your channels. So you can have 4 inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this does have a possibility of 5 and 6 on it as well. I don't think I ever tried that, but they're labeled right here. You can see, I don't know if you can see it on this video, but just read the labels up here. They'll match to your inputs down here. This is your treble, mids, your bass. These are your effects. So if you have a microphone and you want some echo, you can add some echo. Turn them off on your music, or you'll get some really weird sounding music. You can also have your aux return right here, and you can hook up some headphones to it and listen, you know, with your headphones in there to whatever track you want to port over to that. So here's your main volume, okay, and here's your CD and aux volume. So if you want to hear what's going on those tracks, you just turn that up, turn on your headphones, and there you go. Here's an audio splitter. So you can have 2 inputs and 2 outputs. This demo has the possibility of being not a super great demo. Okay, it's been a while since I've done this, but we did a dry run when you were here, so hopefully we got the kinks worked out then. So this is the out, okay, and that's going into one of the inputs here. So let's use 5 and 6. Red is always right. Okay, that's how I do it. The other is always left. So go right there. This one just has a regular, the tiny one. I don't remember what this one's called. But that'll just go into my phone. Or if you have any other kind of media player, that's fine too. So now I just need an output. So I need an output that goes into here. This is an insert, so an input. This is a tape in and a tape out, basically, or recording out. Some people like to record what comes out of here. So, and it just depends on, you know, what you want to do. So we'll just do, let's see. I'm getting a little tied up because my cord's over here. So I'll step over it. And hopefully not trip and pull the camera down. But I do have a little adapter from XLR to your regular tiny input. You guys will have to tell me what that's called. I can't remember. But so that's my out. Your main out. And so I could put this in the front of this amp, which has an input for like a CD player, an MP3 player, or I could use RCA, which this has an adapter on it as well. So I hook that on there, and I could have that be what comes in. So we'll try that first. The problem is, well, I guess there's not a problem. Let's take that piece of the puzzle out. Let's plug that directly into there. Then it's merging your XLR outs into one line, which is an RCA adapter, into the, I think this says tape in. Yeah, it says tape in, but you know, we don't use tape much anymore, right? And that should give us sound for anything that I want to play. So, let's see, I'm recording on the camera, so I need to get another, so hold on one second. I do have that tape deck over here. I do have one of these, which is just a CD player. Which has your RCA out, or yeah, your RCA output, turns it into a little guy. And I have a problem. No, I don't. Let's see. See, I told you. There's been a few. So this is my audio splitter, right? So instead of this, which was coming from the phone, I'm going to put this into here, in one and out one. Okay, in, out, right? So the first inputs. So if I turn this guy on, we should be able to put a tape in there and play it. If I can reach the power strip. This might be the one that doesn't spin. So let me find a CD real quick. Thought I had them handy, but it doesn't look like I do. We've been doing yard sale stuff today and everything ended up everywhere. So, sure. All right, let me find a CD. All right, CD case, where are you? Like I told you, fast forward through the boring parts. All right, where did you go? Oh, shoot. Oh. Found him. All right. See if this is the one that works. That is not the one that works. So that one doesn't spin. So useless. Please hold. Oh, there's the other one. See, this is another thing. It's like when you're setting up for a show, you may have stuff that just doesn't work the way you want to. You may be nervous, you may be stressed, maybe you got there late, maybe someone pissed you off on the way. Always allow for things that you have no control over. Okay. So we'll play that. That should be coming up right here. So, because that's the channel that we have going in, and you can see it is getting a signal right there with the lights going on. So that's how you know that it's coming in. This is your monitor out. Oh, let's see, do I have this plugged in? Oh, I don't have the main amp plugged in. See? Troubleshooting. So now you can hear that kick on. Always make sure your volumes are all the way down on all your channels when you start anything. Because the last thing you want is like when you were here and I turned it on and went BAM! Last thing you want. So I'll turn that channel up to, I usually kick it up about medium, and then I let the main volume depict it right here on the board, right? And I control everything from the board. Now, I don't know if on the amp if the volume's up. So So it doesn't like something. So just doing some troubleshooting here. Let's see. So it's receiving a signal. For some reason, it's not coming up here. So now you know how to not do it. Unless, of course, this isn't working, which is always a possibility. So something's funky, and it could be this cable too. So we'll turn the set with the volumes down on the channels. Take this out of the equation. And let's see if I can plug this in. See if I can turn this around without making everything fall down. Okay, so there's the front of it. Now I've got the cable a little bit twisted around here. See, they put this on the bloopers of how to not DJ. So I'm going to, I might change my input and output. But see, the front doesn't take the RCA. So I'm going to take got my volumes down. I'll take that out, take the RCA part out of it. And we'll get this guy and we'll put it in there, and we'll try it in the CD tape input. Okay. See if we get any volume there. Right, so we learned something there, right? We learned that you troubleshoot it, you change your cables, you try a different configuration, and see what happens. So everything's working, and this is how I have it plugged in, is right here. This is the CD or tape line in, okay? And this has a little volume control. This is the master right here. Let's see if get this a little closer so you can see it better. And I don't know if this is backwards. This is probably backwards on there, but it doesn't help much. But there's your master, okay? And here's your CD player, right? So my master, I want to keep lower, and then I can adjust the volume of the CD player right here. And on the board, right, this is the master of the is the master of the channel, okay, which is right here. I hope you can see that okay. And then you can plug in all your microphones if you want, right here. You can also plug in 2 microphones right here. So it just depends on how, you want to do it and how you're messing around with stuff. So I'll plug in some microphones there just so you can see it. And now I'll probably get a copyright warning because I played music on here. It's copyrighted. YouTube, you gotta love them. Or you don't. But what else are you gonna do, right? So, let's get the microphones. So, one thing you want to pay attention to on the microphones, okay? Don't ever twist them. They go straight in, straight out, okay? When you twist them, there's little connectors in there. Over time, it'll weaken those, and those will break and fall off, okay? So just get it aligned right, and there you go. You're good. Plug this into any of your jacks, so you can plug it into the amp right here if you want. Remember, make sure the volumes on these are all down, or you'll get a nice big surprise. And everyone else will be like, ah! You get some feedback or whatever. An important thing on microphones and feedback, never be in front of the speakers and have this pointed towards the speakers. Okay, some wireless microphones will take that out, but these are wired. I personally like wired sounding better. But check, check, check. So here's your volume control right here. Here's your main volume. This is your treble, bass, and reverb. So if I want a little reverb, check, check, check. That is right here. It's your effects box. And I can turn the effects way up. I can turn on check, check, check. See that? And then your delay. So if you want to sound like you're just in a little hall, that's fine. Or if you want to sound like you're in a stadium, turn it way up. Then you can sing some U2, Or you can sound like you're in a big stadium. Hello, thank you for coming out tonight. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, mess around with that. If you don't want any reverb, like if you're just making announcements, take it off. You can take it off there, or you can take it off there. But I like it right here. I like the volumes or the levels in the middle when I'm talking. For music, I like on this board, I like the main high or the lows high. I put the highs high, and then I just mess with this depending on where you're at. And I just kind of do like a little U shape. Sometimes I kick these up if I want the music to be a little bit better. Don't be afraid of volume, okay? Depends on your venue. You're gonna have people complain whether it's too soft or too loud. And just do what feels right. And but most importantly, do what the guy's paying you. Whoever's paying you, he's the boss. So if they want you to play it loud and everybody else is complaining, that's too bad. Screw him. But if he's like, hey, take that down a little, then just, take it down a little. Peace out. My hair went all kind of weird.